Hey everybody, Hoang here, and Merry Christmas! I am recording this video as of December 25th in North America, and I just want to say I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful holidays. I decided that I wanted to give myself a little bit of a treat, and we're going to take a break from the English format, and I'm going to record one of the decks that I look forward to most in the Japanese format, and that is Justimon from the EX2 collection. Now, Justimon as a deck, it's pretty mid. It's not going to be tier 1 or anything more than likely. However, it is a really, really fun deck, and I wanted to cover it as a treat to myself. So hopefully you guys will all enjoy a little bit of Japanese content, and if this is pretty well received, then we'll continue to do Japanese content. So without further ado, let's get started. So I do just want to say that this style of video, because we're covering the Japanese format, and inevitably we will get it in the English format, the Japanese version of the video will be a little bit shorter, a little less detailed, and that's because I want to also make the video when it comes to English and make that a little bit more jam-packed. So think of this as a dress rehearsal for the inevitable video when it comes out. But without further ado, the key card, Justimon Blitzarm. And note it says Blitzarm, which means that inevitably, or I don't know why I'm saying inevitably a lot, but eventually when we do get the other Justimon variations, like Excel Arm, for example, that's just really, really going to be cool. The Justimon Blitzarm states, when Digivolving, activate one of the following effects. This Digimon gains plus 2k, unsuspend, or delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. And then, when attacking, you may activate this Digimon's when Digivolving effect for every tamer you have. Do note that is once per turn, and it is 11k and 3 costs as well. Justimon is the equivalent of Tactimon, alright? Tactimon is very similar, where it has 3 different effects that you can choose from, and then you can activate all 3 effects if you meet certain criteria. Well, Justimon is you have 3 effects, and you can activate each effect for every tamer. Justimon is the Swiss Army knife for black, so if you're looking for a side mega in black, Justimon fits the build more often than not. Justimon also specifies any color tamer, which means that you can make some really crazy color combinations. For example, Hero from BT8 is an excellent memory tamer you can use. You can also use cards like BT4 Mimi or Starter Deck Matt, etc. Now, I know we've never done this kind of section before, but I do want to touch on this because it is a more compressed video, so I want to make sure that everyone understands. These cards that are quote-unquote supposed to support Justimon aren't really good, it turned out, in testing. Rio is not a memory tamer. If Rio was a memory tamer, then all of a sudden all of this support would be phenomenal. But he's not a memory tamer. In fact, he is pretty lackluster. He's able to search out your Drummons as well as your Justimon, and that's really cool and everything. Consistency, woohoo! But at the same time, his other effect, which gives you plus 1000 DP, not so hot. Rio, more often than not, when you play him, it doesn't give you a lot of bang for your buck. It doesn't feel that great. I know Cyberdramon plays him for free, but you kind of want to hide in Raising a lot of the times. And if you hide in Raising and you have Cyberdramon Digivolving in, you're not getting a lot of value over, say, Megadramon or Gogmamon or whatever it may be. Let's talk about that a little bit. Cyberdramon, for one, cannot attack if you do not have a tamer, so if you missed out on your Rio for whatever reason, then Cyberdramon cannot swing, and that feels pretty bad on its own. Cyberdramon is able to play the Rio from your hand, but again, like I said, if you're Digivolving in Raising, you don't get that. Also, Rio, even if you play it for free, it still isn't getting you a lot of value. Monodramon looks really good on paper, being able to search for your black tamers. It is the equivalent of BT1 Patamon, being able to grab all black tamers, but the issue with this, and why it doesn't feel super good, is because your black tamers are pretty low impact, it turns out. Right, you grab your Rio, and like, what are you really doing with it? Let's be honest with ourselves. Strike-Dramon is probably the least grave offender of these 4 cards. The When Digivolving effect is, it's cool and everything, right? Being When Digivolving gives it a little bit more usage than the on-play of Monodramon, and its When Attacking ability is pretty nice, being able to gain a memory. However, do note that it specifies black tamers, so if you decide to splash different colored tamers like we do, then you don't get a lot of mileage out of Strike-Dramon. But overall, all 4 of these cards feel pretty underwhelming in testing. I personally would not advise you run them. If you do, because you want a little bit of flavor, totally go for that, to each their own. But I would suggest not to. And now the Justimon list that we were testing, this list was actually doing pretty well. I don't think it can keep up very likely against hybrids and Jagras, but this is a really fun rogue tier 2 deck in my opinion that can steal some games here and there. you may notice that we actually incorporate the Cyborg engine found in the Machinedramon deck via Hagurumon and Guardromon, and the reason for that is because I realized Justimon is considered a cyborg, and this gave me this entire idea where I was like, oh my god, we can tech an entire cyborg engine to boost our consistency. Because Hagurumon on paper is actually really strong. Draw 2 for discard 1, like that's pretty sick. That's pretty darn sick. So we incorporated a little bit more heavier on the machine cyborg side to make that consistency a little bit higher. So without further ado, let's get into this. So start off, we play 4 Kopurimon. We do not play 5 eggs, and the reason for that is because we want to end the games as quickly as possible. Kopurimon gives us the best bang for our buck, making Justimon plus 1k with the Toy Agumon underneath. Now we play 3 vanilla Hagurumon. I know, it's been a while since you've seen a vanilla Digimon in a deck list, but there is a very key purpose. When I was playing this deck, I kept noticing that there would be awkward increments where I would have Memory Tamer, I would go to 3, my opponent has Memory Tamer, and then I would Digivolve for 1 into my Tankmon or my Dark Tyrannomon, and then I would Digivolve for 3 onto my level 5, and I was like, but he goes to 3 anyway, you know, how can we circumvent that? How do we get a little bit more value out of that? And I was like, oh, Hagurumon making it so you go to 0 after Digivolve for 1, and then you can Digivolve into your 5, thus passing over the most efficient amount of memory possible, and it's also a cyborg or machine or whatever of the two, which means it is a valid discard target for Hagurumon as well as Guardromon. So that right there, really good efficiency. For Toy Agumon is arguably the strongest level 3 in our deck, being able to give the Justimon reboot as well as Gagumon potentially if we need to. It doesn't synergize super well with the Melga, which we'll talk about, but the reboot has a lot of key features, and we'll talk about that in a second. We also play 3 Haguru because Hagurumon, like I said, consistency booster. I would play 4 if we had a little bit more room, but room is super tight in this list, and I'll talk about that in a second. And we play 4 Sonorizumon. Sonorizumon in combination with Hero is super easy to proc. Gagumon procking everything but Sonoriza plus Hero hits 13k exactly, which means you'll swing for 2 damage off of Sonoriza and then Digivolve into Justy for an extra restand, and that's a really powerful combo. So Sonorizumon, absolutely huge mileage in this deck. Going into our level 4s, we play 4 Tankmon because we want to accelerate into our Justimon WinCon as soon as possible. 3 Grumblemon because Grumblemon is our hybrid. If we swing for a bunch of damage, Grumblemon can oftentimes finish the game. You may notice that we do only play 2 Black Tamers, so that has a little bit of room to fiddle with. And we play the 2 Guardromon. Guardromon is the same merit as Hagurumon, where it gives us a little bit more consistency, being able to discard a cyborg or machine Digimon to draw 2. And also, it is a blocker, so if you're playing against those pesky Eismon decks or whatever it may be, maybe you're playing a little bit a hybrid where they're trying to rush you down, then Guardromon is a really nice early game blocker. And then 3 Dark Tyranno, because again, 1 cost evolution and is a early blocker. Our level 5 lineup, we play 4 Gagumon. Gagumon is the absolute king of level 5 blacks, being able to swing for 13k by himself, or 11k and then 13 with Hero Onokawa. It's just a really good card in general. It allows us to hit Zubagon thresholds super easily. We play 2 Megadramon because making Justimon or Metal Garurumon into a blocker comes up a lot more than you realize. And then we play a, cool tech, Metal Greymon from BT8. Metal Greymon has reboot by itself, but the more important part is that it gives +1 security attack if you have reboot. So when I was testing, I noticed a lot of the times while Justimon was swinging for 3 or whatever it may be, we lacked kill pressure, and so we were playing Metal Greymon to give Justimon a little extra oomph. So now Justimon swing for 2. If you have Sonoriza, he swings for 3, and that alone can be a game breaking. We play 2 Metal Garurumon. Metal Garurumon having reboot inherently means it has synergy with the Metal Greymon. With the Gagumon, and the Kopurimon, you automatically hit the Sonorizumon threshold. That's also great as well. Being able to burn a security has come up a lot, it feels, and just being able to pop lower bodies can also come up significantly. And of course, we play the 4 Justimon. Probably in a regular black deck, you'll probably see 2 or 3 Justimon at a lower increment because it's more of a side boss. But if you focus on Justimon himself, it's pretty good also, being able to abuse Zubagon Punch. And this is a Justimon deck, so we want to play Justy at 4. Do note that the level 6 backup to Justimon, honestly, I was contemplating Craniumon for the Beelzemon and Galamon decks that we may see in the future, being immune to both their destruction. If you don't expect to see those decks, then you could definitely play Metal Garurumon, as that's just generic good stuff. But if you expect more destruction, heavy emphasis, then go for the Craniumon approach. I also would suggest looking into the new BT8 Black War Greymon and then incorporating some red cards like Metal Greymon into the level 5 lineup, because then you could snipe Tamers and that has some value as well. We play one Chaosmon. I really want to play a second level 7, but like space is super tight and I don't know where to fit it in. So as of right now, we're only playing the one Chaosmon. Frankly, though, I would cut Chaosmon, even though that is our only form of removal outside of Black Metal Garurumon. I would cut Chaosmon in favor of a third Zubagon Punch. Zubagon Punch is absolutely goated in this deck. Zubagon Punch being able to make our Justimon into 16k, give blocker, reboot, and security attack plus. It comes up so much. Like, holy crap, Zubagon Punch is crazy good. Play 2 Memboost because Memboost is just an absolutely fantastic card. Being able to also accelerate us into our Justimon WinCon, great stuff. I would probably cut Chaosmon down, place a third Zubagon Punch, but simultaneously, I really like the level 7. I could argue 2 Milli or 2 Chaos, so there's a lot of room that you can mess around with. This is a baseline list that we were just testing with, so do keep that in mind. And then we played 2 Black Tie. So when I was testing this, I really wanted a 2-cost Tamer so I could use that to abuse with Justimon, and because we kind of gave up on the whole Justimon support package, we are now allowed to play more Tamers, so we were testing a lot of things. Purple Mimi, for example, allows us to cast Zubagon Punch for 1 or Black Memory Boost for 2, and that was a really cool consideration. We also considered cards like starter deck Matt that gains a memory if your opponent has a Digimon without a source. We considered Joe. There's a lot of different considerations we made, but ultimately we went to Tai because Tai allows us to Digivolve into Grumblemon for lethal. Not only that, but with Zubagon Punch and Mega Dramon underneath our Justimon, we can double block, and that's pretty cool. And then we play 3 Hero. Hero is absolutely bonkers as a card. He's in the running for best memory tamer in the entire game. The plus 2000 DP on paper looks pretty like so-so, but then you realize the application of it and what it enables. It enables Gogmamon to hit 13k by itself, thus proccing the Sonoriza. It allows Justimon to break that 16k threshold for the Zubagon Punch. It's just really, really great in general. Hero is an absolutely fantastic card. I never feel bad playing Hero. This could also be an Izzy if you want to make your Sonorizamon proc, not Sonoriza, but your Grumblemon proc happen much more often, as well as being a really strong turn 1 opener, being for 3. So there's a lot of room definitely in the Justimon lineup that you can play around with, but I found that this list was pretty effective. We were having really good success into Gallantmon, into Beelzemon, Machine Dramon, and the hybrid Joggers matchup for sure is a little bit shakier, but we'll keep testing. We'll keep testing for sure. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was a lot shorter than normal. We really compressed it a little bit, but I really am excited to play Justimon. This is one of my favorite Digimon of all time, and I felt like I deserved a treat on Christmas. So thank you guys all for watching, and Merry Christmas.